Hi there, Simon Dale from firstpersonview.co.uk here. Just going to do a very brief video. I'm not going to go into too many specifics, if I can help myself, of how to unbox and connect up your first-person view advanced flight kit. So this is it. This is the box that you'll receive if you buy one. Let's open that up. You've got a thin layer of foam here, if you just dispense with that. Here you'll see we've got our quick start postcard guide, which is just a very basic guide. First thing it says is read the manual. The manual's available on the website. It's in the downloads, manuals and press section, which is at the bottom left of the website. If you go in there, you'll see it, the Advanced Flight Kit manual, and that's got everything you need to know in there. But this is just a quick start guide for those who are a bit impatient. It refers to the transmitter, so if we move on to the transmitter, this is your 10 milliwatt 2.4 gig transmitter, or in some cases 100 milliwatt if you've got that version. It's identical in every other way. At the top, this white section, that's your antenna. You want to have that vertical on your plane. At the bottom here you've got OSD pins, 4 pins, which plug into your OSD. If you're not using an OSD, this jumper pin stays connected over the furthest left too, and you'll see we say this here. This is the jumper. You must cover these two. If you are going to use an easy OSD supplied from us, we'll supply it with a plug and play cable, and it's got 4 connectors. They all plug into those 4 pins, and that's it. You're good to go. If you're going to use another OSD, it's a little bit more complicated. You'll have to make yourself up a lead, but we do tell you what each pin does there. If you're a bit more advanced and that's what you're trying to achieve. Looking back at the transmitter then, you've got 2 main things really. One is to the camera, this white Molex, that supplies power and takes the video signal from the camera. And you've got a red female JST, which is your power input. You can power that from a LiPo in your plane, a separate LiPo, separate to your flight pack, or if you want a better solution, you can take one of these. This is an optional extra, but it's JST-XH. This white connector is called a JST-XH, and that's one of the most common 2-cell and 3-cell LiPo connectors, balance plugs, sorry. And this would be on a 3-cell, I would have thought, and this is a JST male. So this is a really neat way of getting a second feed off your LiPo, because we don't want to use the standard Deans or whatever is on your LiPo because of conductive interference, a lot of conductive noise coming off your ESC when the motor's running. So we don't want to use that, we want to keep it separate. So either you want to have a very small LiPo, or the even better solution, this little lead that we offer on the website, which bridges that gap. So very, very easy for the plane side of things. Take your camera. This is the KX131 camera. Beautiful little camera. Take the lens cap off for you there. And on the back, there's a little white Molex socket. Just put that there. Take the transmitter. Plug the little white Molex in. And that's your airborne system. Either you plug your little LiPo in, or if you are going to go with our adapter cable, plug your adapter cable in. Just be careful to get this the right way around. They can really only go one way, but people have been known to force them. Best thing to do is put them in, and then just hold it like that, and just check black to black, red to red, and then we know, because you don't want to be connecting these things backwards. And this is a locking connector, a keyed connector. It can only go one way. But just never, with all this equipment, FPV and RC in general, never force any connectors, because you don't want to be connecting things backwards. Keep the magic smoke inside the wires. So that's your airborne system, all ready to go. Now your ground-based system. Basically that comprises a receiver and your goggles. So I'll just show you how to connect those up. This is your receiver here. Very nice, neat little receiver. 2.4 gigahertz, high sensitivity receiver. And we'll just go around it. We've got SMA connector. not RP SMA, SMA. You've got 4 channels here, and when you turn it on, it'll always be on channel 1. Just flick through the channels by pressing that button. On the other side, power switch, 12 volts input. It will take a little bit less than 12 volts, 11.1 volt LiPo is fine. And then your RCA outputs, composite video, the yellow RCA, and audio there, with the red connector. Just put that down there. So if I just move this back, make a little bit of room. So we've got the receiver there. Let's take the yellow and red to yellow and red, male to male RCAs. We just unfasten these. Let's connect those. If you do look in the manual, which I highly recommend, you'll see a photograph of all this laid out beautifully on a table, and you can see exactly how it all connects. So I would recommend using that as a reference when you do connect this up for the first time. It's probably better than this video for that, but I'll show you how to connect it. This is the power lead that we supply for the receiver. It plugs straight into there. On the other end, we supply it with just cut wires. We put a little bit of red heat shrink on so you know which is positive. Also, if for any reason you haven't got the red heat shrink, you'll see it's got grey dashed lines down at the positive line, and it's centre positive at this end, which it also says on there. We did used to supply these with spade connectors, with Dean's connectors at one point, with JSTs at another point, and whichever one we put on, you would want the other one. So we ended up just putting bare wires on, just cut wires, and you can do whatever you want with it then, put your favourite connectors on. So that's that side. Let's put the antenna on. In here you'll find the little sort of 2.13 dB-ish receiver antenna, which just screws onto there. Make sure that's on nice and tight. When you are flying, it's important that's vertical, or pretty close to. That's kind of the receiver. So we've now got these 2 feeds ready to go into our goggles. So if we just move that slightly to one side, put the camera system over there. The goggles, obviously, are this bit. They've got cellophane over the top just to protect them, and they've got cellophane on the lenses. If you were wondering why you've got a foggy image, you probably haven't taken the cellophane off. Just going around them, you've got headphone ports. There's one on each side. 2 little headphones supplied here, 2 separate, one for each ear. They're supplied there. 3.5mm jack, they just plug in there. You've also got a little flap here with a sort of looks like a mini USB socket. It's not actually mini USB, but it's very close. And what goes into there, if you take your control box from the advanced flight kit, and that's this item. This has got the battery in as well. Let's just unfasten that. Some Velcro here. Unfasten the Velcro. Now you'll see the 2 ends of this control box. One is the sort of mini USB looking connector, and one is a 3.5mm positive male rather jack plug. So this end goes into the goggles, that way around, and then we put the Velcro around just to stop it being yanked out. That's the goggle side. Now the other end, the 3.5mm jack plug. We've got a lead in this last bag, which is like this. It's a 3.5mm socket. Take that. You've now got 3 RCA sockets. So we're just going to be using the red and the yellow. Red into red, yellow into yellow. Job done. To turn the goggles on, you've got power here, and you'll see it blue there. There's a volume control, obviously for the earphones. If you have bought a microphone, that'll be useful. The charging port there is supplied here with a USB charging port is also compatible with Nokia chargers, the new small Nokia chargers. I say new, they've been around about 5 years, but so anyone who's got a Nokia charger can just plug that straight in, and there's another headphone port there. I think that's about it. Oh, couple more things I suppose. On the front here, about here-ish, you'll see there's an infrared, well you won't see, but under there's an infrared sensor. You get a remote, and the remote you should aim at about there. You don't hold down the buttons, you have to continually press them, and as it comes you'll see there's a plastic, it's in a plastic case, but also there's a plastic tab there. If you pull that tab out, then it'll let the battery connect. At the moment it's just preventing it from connecting. And you can change the contrast and whether it's PAL or VGA and brightness and that sort of thing on there. You also get these light blockers, so they connect to here. They sort of fit on there and they block out the light, so you're not getting the screen stays nice and dark. And one last thing, we supply the camera mount. There's two sets of screws in there, long screws and short screws. The short screws go in the camera, the long screws going in your plane or whatever you're mounting it to. Whatever you do, don't put the long screws into the camera, because that will be the end of the camera. And you'll see on the camera there's small holes on the side to screw the small screws into. And to be honest, the big screws wouldn't really go, but whatever you do, don't try and force the big screws into that hole, because that'll be the end of it. I think that's everything. Thank you for watching. I'll do some more videos relating to the other bits and bobs, head trackers and pan and tilts and diversity and that sort of thing. If you've got any questions, by all means drop me an email, fpv@firstpersonview.co.uk. Thanks for watching.